We're on the afternoon break in the questioning of Keith Edmondson at the undercover policing inquiry. There have been further questions for Keith about his. I think it's summed up by him saying, "I know my name's on it, but I don't remember it." Every time he was shown a written document.
I'm not sure he knows his own name at this stage.
I mean, he doesn't know much, does he? I mean, bloody hell. What have you made of what he's had to say?
There was just to come up on the live stream. There was just a very nice moment towards the end there where Hemingway said, "Is this a case of you just signed everything off regardless, or you're actually incompetent management?"
Right. Yeah.
And she gave him a third out, but it was like quite clearly that's the choice.
Yeah.
He's constantly surprised by all these things all these officers were doing. So she was addressing Jenna and Alison's trip over 6-day trip over New Year, supposedly a meeting of the Hackney Community Defence or Colin Road Centre
in Cumbria.
For 6 days of meetings. But obviously this was a holiday.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. What? No, I don't believe that. No, that can't be the case.
Yeah, I mean, this was it. The fact that it turned out that it seemed like a significant number, if not the majority, of travel authorizations were being done retrospectively, and it was put. Was there any oversight of this at all, or was it just was everything being signed off? He said, "Oh no, there would be extensive discussions between him and Bob Lambert about the merits of the trips, but if they had to go, they had to go, and they would have known about it before. It would have been signed off afterwards."
Yeah, well, it just sounds like a great week for the boys.
Yeah,
they had a nice little chat in the thing, and whatever. There's just no management to this unit.
No.
That is what direction Sarah Hemingway coming in at? There's at no point is he able to actually say, "Yes, I definitively managed. I definitively did this."
He can't definitively remember anything.
And there's a whole discussion around their children's identities, and to move away from this, because clearly the whole issue with John Dimes threw up the fact that their children's death certificates were being used to identify undercovers.
He couldn't bring himself to admit that it was because Helen Steele had found that death certificate. He was like, "Oh, there might have been other reasons. There might have been other concerns. I mean, computerization, security." But he couldn't bring himself to admit that it was because an activist had found a death certificate. They knew that she'd found it, and that's what caused them to panic. And before HN26 was deployed, they decided for the first time since 1974 they were going to use a different method for choosing a cover name for Christine Green, who apparently had already lined up a dead child's identity that they were going to use.
And this is quite important, because it shows this is this tactic that they've used for years, justified. And he's going, "Oh yeah, we felt slight uncomfortableness. Somebody said it was slightly uncomfortable with it, so we started to look at it." It's like, no way is this representative of your management style whatsoever. It's just not credible. And the fact that now you're able to find another way around, it's like, why weren't you thinking about this earlier? There wasn't. Say, "Oh yeah, what does computerization coming along?" Computerization on this level, what we have now was so far away.
This is 94.
It's the same with them saying, "Oh, they had mobile phones." Like, we did not have mobile phones in 94. But quite quickly they're able to find an alternative. So the question there is, why did you let this abhorrent practice continue so long?
No, I mean it's a ridiculous situation, and he completely fluffed it, I think, with his answers, as he has with so many things.
I don't think this Anthony hasn't fluffed so far.
Well, I mean, one thing that I think has been quite interesting is the amount of. I mean, he's been quite adamant that we've seen lots of documents that were passed up the chain, lots of things about operational, actions by SDS officers that were being passed up to senior officers within Special Branch and beyond. And he was asked, was this normal? Was it normal for senior management? It's not the case then that everything was dealt with internally within the SDS. And he's like, "Oh no, we dealt with some things internally, but I think it's a good thing that the minutiae of the intricacies of so many things were being passed right up the command structure," which shows that this idea that the unit was super secret and that only those who needed to know knew about it was as false as we've always known it to be.
Yes and no. I think there's clearly a lot of it's the people above, people below. There's just this constant. We're constantly. Ultimately, it all comes down to the paperwork. That's the only thing that we can really believe. in this because their memories, by their own admissions, are so shaky, and there's this constantly. Like with Lambert, oh no, I didn't do any training. It was all the sergeants. The sergeants go, we didn't do any training. It was all the managers. You know, this, and you know, he said, oh, I didn't deal with any of the problem things. I gave it to the superintendent, and the superintendent gave it to the commander, and the commander's going, you what? You what? So you just can't believe any of it.
No, there was quite a funny bit where we saw the operational briefing note that Bob Lambert wrote about the planned visit of Paul Condon in '95, and this convoluted, quite theatrical process of the commander and his deputy going to a separate location, moving into different cars, being taken there, and then a handwritten note back from the Deputy Commissioner Howley saying, "We'll drive straight there."
Being better has read too many Jean Le Carre novels.
Yeah,
and it's just one of those we quite often say it's often in the humour you see the truth, and it's like this. The humour is like that says quite a lot about how this unit perceives itself and the risks and the threats. It over-egged absolutely everything.
Yeah, and senior manager weren't buying it.
Yeah,
and we also saw the.
It should be said. So on that, it's like. Condon, this was around the time of the McPherson. He was a nationally known figure. He would have been recognised on the street, and they didn't think that was a major security issue.
No, there's no pushback when he says he's going to drive there. We also take him back to the Chitty document, where we do remember just before lunch that Keith Edmondson said it was unique. There was something very particular about Chitty. It was very unique. He didn't see any lessons to be learned from it because it was just a one-off, this individual officer acting in a very individual way.
And sexual relations.
Yeah, in terms of sexual relations. And then it's shown that within that very document that he was referring to, it mentions 4 officers being weak in that same way. He had no real answer for that. He was just like, I don't understand what. Once again, he suggested we don't understand plain English, and so it's not entirely clear what they mean by weak. I mean, it's obvious what's being said.
He's true. You know, I think there's two aspects in that. One is generally is how much he tries to be a pedant about everything.
Yes,
and like he's not a pedant. He's no good at it. But the other one, I think the Chitty document, she didn't really pull this out, but I think if she's put on the table, Sarah Hemingway does, shows that he ought to have had knowledge about misbehavior right at the very start, and he did absolutely nothing to recognize not just Chitty, but all the other people who were named as having, that there was issues. He just went, la, 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 la.
Well, yeah, I mean, there's no question that it was his job to read these documents. He claims to be completely surprised by them, but he can't say that he didn't read them because it was his job to read them.
But it's the same with the tradecraft manual. It's like, I'm sure I would have read it, but didn't take anything in. It just comes across like he zoned his way through the management.
Yeah.
Well, that's what the impression he wants to give, because that's the least bad consequence of what he was actually doing.
Yeah, I mean, at one point he requested the opportunity to write a note to John Mitting for things that John Mitting to know. He passes the book to John Mitting, and John Mitting goes, "This is a general comment. There's nothing specific about the topic we're talking about." Which he then I think it's important that you know that. And it really felt like time. I mean, it's okay, he's just doing it. It felt like time wasting.
There's a lot of time wasting going on. And I've been looking on YouTube playing on double speed, and even on double speed, you hear the length of the pauses.
Yeah.
And this is And he's constantly going back. Well, I want to read that. I want to read that. It's like, even the most inconsequential stuff. Or can I scroll down the page? I need to read the next bit.
Yeah. Okay, we had a couple of comments. There's one here from the campaign opposing police surveillance. How many countries did taxpayers fund this dubious gang to visit whilst undercover? I mean, there is a lot. There is a lot of travel. I mean, I think particularly there's a lot of travel on Edmondson's watch. And we know that Bob Lambert liked to try and get as many travel things for himself. One, he's the eye in the unit. Him and the whole squad are going away at every opportunity they can get. When we see the trips to multiple countries in a row as part of the exfiltration just started becoming really common.
Oh, it's all normalized here. And then you also have the welfare holidays to Amsterdam.
Yeah.
All happening.
Las Vegas.
All starting happening. You get the sense. My personal theory is like, Edmondson head of units, really light touch. Wants to be liked by the boys because he's a failed undercover for whatever reason. Lambert is just taking this, and the rest of the undercovers are so used to ducking and diving. Free hand. Let's go and have holidays. Let's go. It's like if he can't spot that an 6 days overnight in camping in Cumbria isn't a holiday.
Yeah.
He's not going to spot everything else. But also, you wonder how much he just didn't want to know.
No, quite. Yeah. I mean, he was. I mean, from what we understand, I mean, he was very busy with the Metropolitan Police Rugby Football Club. Very involved in the dinners and the social side of that. Even after he stopped playing, I'm guessing he was just busy doing that.
Clearly.
Right. It's only a short break. We better go back in. Anything else you want to add?
No, not at the moment.
Right on. We'll see you at the end of the day. We'll have a few more people with a bit of a recap of what we've heard. Please like, share these videos. Makes a huge